Episode 160, Single Income Family as an Asset. I want to talk today about, this could happen, I guess, with this recession. There's a lot of people that may be losing their jobs, but they'll be like, say, a family, and the husband will lose his job, but the wife has her job, husband stay at home, vice versa. And I think we could see a lot of this going on as we roll further. We don't know what's going on, but we need to come up with some solutions. So I thought today one of my solutions for you guys would be, what would we do in that situation? And could this actually be an asset? You know, not long ago, there was somebody I knew who was trying to tell their significant other about how much money you can save, how it's actually a job. I talk about, for my life, this is all my own opinions, but I think you should run your life like a business. If you're not running your life like a business, you know, guess what? Why would we even think about doing that? Because all of us are working for money. How is money generated? Money's generated through a business. I can't say that one enough. But before I say any bad potty mouth noises, this is a potty mouth podcast, so viewer and listener discretion is advised. And I guess let's just jump in. Welcome to another edition of Up and In. I'm your host, Adrian Babashoff, and if you're new here, welcome as well. And if you're wondering what the show is about, it's entirely dedicated to improving quality of life for both people and the planet through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life raw. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one. So this person that I used to know was telling a significant other, just because you don't get money, you know, we just talked about, run your life like a business so you can make money. But there's also different things that you can do that maybe won't necessarily generate money, like food. And I want to talk about a bunch of ideas that I have for you guys. We're driving to, the background noise is my F-350 pickup truck. This is my work commute back home, so it's the only chance I got because it's springtime's coming and I'm getting my stuff planted. So that's why I look like shit. I got dirt all over me for those of you watching. But yeah, in a single income family, we have healthy living techniques and healthy money saving techniques. And the very first one is food. And if you're not doing it for just the flavor alone of all the rich homemade foods, you would do it to save money. So what we have here is an opportunity that goes off, it stacks a lot of functions, whereas we can say we're eating out, eating fast foods, even home fast foods to me is like canned stuff, where if someone's making the stuff from scratch, you know, mostly from scratch, it's a lot of home cooking, you're going to improve your family's health, your own health, and you're going to save a heck of a lot of money. If, like I said, if you're not just doing it just for the flavor. So that's a big one. And I think when I say run your life like a business, one thing I've done is I've done an audit, and I recommended for a lot of you guys in past episodes is audit yourself. Find out where all the money's going to. Now, I know we have listeners from other parts of the country, but here, at least in the United States of America, the biggest expenses for me is my housing. Housing is very expensive. Very next one is food. And the very next one is fuel for my vehicle. You look at electricity and things like that, all those little details, they all add up, but those are the big ones. So why not run your life like a business and see what you can do about that food to save some money, especially if you're in hard times. So there's a lot of different things. So I don't want to get into cooking, but I think it's a skill that a lot of people don't know how to do. I'm for one getting into wok cooking, doing Thai and Chinese food like stir fries, because I grow lots of my own food, my vegetables and stuff. So fast food for me, and that's healthy. I don't have a lot of time, you know, because I own my own business and I run amok. So for instance, learning how to cook, I've learned so much from wok cooking, and it applies into just even with a cast iron skillet. But there's a lot of extra stuff that we can do that doesn't really cost a lot of money, great for our health, great for our pocketbook, such as fermenting. I got into fermenting a few years ago, doing my own kimchi. That's a Asian fermented cabbage with chilies and stuff in it, but we could also make sauerkrauts. We could do pickles. There's all kinds of different things that I think even follow in the fermenting segment, I think, is like things like kefir and yogurts and things like that. I never did the yogurt, but from what I've researched is that you can get a batch of yogurt which has beneficial bacteria for the flora in your gut, and it just keeps going like sourdough bread. So a lot of you guys don't know about yogurt making, the real yogurt making from scratch, but it's got the good stuff in it for you. And sourdough bread is what you have to do is get your starter, right? So you have the starter, and once you put that in, For those of you who don't know too, there's good bacteria and bad bacteria. We're talking about the good one right now. So what'll happen is this fermentation sort of process will go on, and it goes on forever, for infinity. You just keep parting off, say, a couple tablespoons of your yogurt, and you prepare it. We don't have time to go into details today about it, but you dump it in there. You can do it in an Instapot, and you have yogurt that's perpetual motion, just keeps going and going. And same thing with the sourdough breads. So a lot of things to learn about fermenting. My next one is sprouting. You can go and buy yourself some seeds. I do recommend that if you were going to get into this, you start small, but as far as a payback, I think a lot of us might want to grow our own seeds or figure out some way to offset the cost, because it seems like it can get expensive. But in contrast to buying sprouted vegetables in the grocery store, buying seed in bulk definitely saves you some money. I recommend, if you've got this time on your hand and you're a stay-at-home person, you know, that you get a group going on. I've been talking a lot about community, and if we're going to hit a recession, which I think it's safe to say we are in a recession, you got the time on your hands, create a community. Go onto Facebook or talk to your neighbors and go. Everybody buy in. Instead of buying, like I do, like 20 pounds of, say, sunflower seeds or something like that, you know, green bean seeds and cilantros, whatever mung bean is a really good one. Instead of buying 20 pounds for like, $10 or something, buy like 100 pounds for like 50 bucks. Get a big group and then part it all out. So sprouting is relatively simple. You can have food ready to be served within a matter of days, depending on what species that you're trying to sprout. All you need is a mason jar, a glass jar. You can use a rubber band with a towel over it, a paper napkin, or you can go buy the fancy lids that strain all the water. So you basically would take just like a couple tablespoons of, like, say, mung beans. You put them in a jar. You soak them for about 6 hours, 12 hours. You rinse them. You go back and forth depending on who you're listening to. And then you drain you get them all nice and soaked. You drain all the water out. Keep your container upside down. And by the second day, you already got little sprouts going. And about day 5, day 6, day 7, depending on the temperature of your home, next thing you know, you have an entire jar just full of healthy, nutrient-rich, organic food. So sprouting, baking, I'm just going to kind of go down here. We just talked about sourdough. I see major opportunity. Bread's cheap, man. It's the poor man's comfort food. And if you're hurting and you're stay at home, and guys, come on, I bake stuff on a barbecue. If it makes you feel like you're not a fucking man because you're a baker, put that fucking apron on. Put that apron on and see what happens. Let me wipe my my lens here. There. See what happens, man. But here's what could happen. Is the smell of bread just infects everybody's nostrils. If you've got bread flowing out of your house, they got these cool little bread makers you can get, so where it kneads it, bakes it, does everything itself. You could have a loaf of bread in like 4 or 5 hours, I think. If you could set that up, you could actually sell bread from your home, or keep it for your family. Another good thing to do is, and I'm sorry we don't have the time to get in here, is canning. Go down to your U-Pick. For those of you who don't know, there'll be a lot of farmers. They'll come in and they'll pick a bunch of tomatoes or cabbages or whatever have you. Then there's stuff that's just residual and they just leave it there. And you can actually pay like $10 or something to get in and pick all the fucking tomatoes and leftover vegetables you want, depending on what the farmer's agreement is with you. But take all that stuff home and learn how to can. Dehydrating is my last one I got on my list. There's a whole bunch. But you can start learning how to dehydrate. You can buy yourself a really cool electric-powered dehydrator and start drying and preserving your food. Again, you can start selling it. Jerky is one of my favorite things to make. We don't have time to go in details, but I get like the London broil, I think it was, and you cut them into nice thin pieces. I'll give you guys a quickie. Stick it in the freezer for about 2 hours or so till it just starts to get like hard, like solid. And then that way, if you're cutting with a knife, you can get it, when it's soft, it's all gushy and everything. When it's almost half frozen, you can get nice even slices, because that's what's going to get you an even doneness with your beef jerky. One of the things I found is if you cut them paper thin, they go super fast. But what's really cool is it's like a potato chip, and it like literally melts on your tongue. You just put some seasonings. There's nothing to it. You just slice up meat, put your favorite seasonings, and then put it on the dehydrator. You don't even have to have an electric dehydrator. You can start learning how to do this stuff from the sun with solar. You can make yourself a little a screened little box with shelves on it, and you can actually dehydrate. I would love to go into detail, but a lot of that takes some time. So now we're talking about food. Let's jump into money, saving, and investing. I would see that men or women that you do DIY home improvements to the existing home that you're on. My mind goes all over the place, guys, because I haven't let them kill my curiosity or murder my magic. But I look at this, and this thing's very big. So if you guys, let's start with you already own a home. And very simply, your plumbing goes out. Something happens with your electrical, an outlet goes out. There's all kinds of different, room needs to be painted. We have been blessed in this time of age. It's never been a better time to live, and I think, than right now, by the grace of YouTube and the internet, of how to learn how to fix things. If you've got time on your hands, learn how to fix things. Improve or fix your house. Now let's just say that you ain't getting the job, you're going to be here for a year. Start learning how to drywall, start learning how to paint, start learning how to fix the roof and plumbing. Increase the value of your home so that if you ever did have to sell, it's worth that much more. So now we're looking at that you've just learned how to fix a bunch of things around your home. You're improving the value of your home. Let's just say that you were able to go and invest. You don't have a job, right? You can't find a job. What if you go into business now for yourself, and you actually go, if you're able to afford it, you go and you buy a home, and it's a fixer-upper, right? And let's say your significant other is making some really good, some decent coin. You guys qualify to buy a home. Go buy a fixer-upper. Well, Honey Buns is over there working their fucking ass off while you're sitting at home doing nothing, eating bonbons and watching soap operas. No, you, the other person, could start doing all these home improvements and start flipping houses. That's a really big one. I know I'm just kind of shooting off the hip here, but hopefully you guys, those of you who are smart enough and have enough gusto and wind in your sails, you see where I'm going with this. I would love to have somebody support me, and so I can stay home and work my ass off and flip houses. So, guys, you can take a nap when you're tired. You can work at nighttime. You can work whenever the fuck you want. You can also, let's spur off this one so I don't take up too much time, you can start fixing your neighbors' houses. I don't know about anywhere out outside of the United States and outside of California, but I do know a lot of states are the same. As long as the job is under $500 or $700, you don't have to have a contractor's license. You can legally go show people what you did at your own home and go and fix plumbing, electrical, and all that stuff, while hubby's over at work. So, my God, you guys, let's get this together. You guys see the power of someone staying at home, with the food. You can get a garden going. There's so much, but I don't want to digress here. Let's stay on topic. The other one I got down here is auto mechanics. Start learning how to fix your own shit. Do your own oil changes. Rotate your tires. Problem solve. Start very small. If a dumb fuck like me can figure a lot of this stuff out, I guarantee you guys can as well. And it goes into what do you call it? I'm going to go into miscellaneous here. This was part of my notes. It goes into education, furthering your education. I'm jumping my notes here. By you learning how to fix houses, do simple repairs, repair vehicles, you're furthering your education to be able to open doors to other things that you've never thought were possible. So I don't know. Sometimes I look and I can't help but to see ways to make money and things to do. Is it easy? No, it's not. But you got to start. You got to know what you're doing first, of course. But yeah, you start saving a shit ton of money. Your car's going to last a lot longer. Your tires are going to last a lot longer. You can go and flip cars. You can go and live in a travel trailer like I do, or a tiny house, and you can buy a cheapy old fucked up one, and you can flip that thing. Park it in front of in your yard if you have one, or go buy one and live in it and slowly start making it over. So some miscellaneous I have here is exercise. And I think what happens, like this person I knew who had a significant other that didn't want to do these things, didn't get this, is that we could set up exercise programs and stuff. Because people like me, or people like the guy I knew who was in a relationship, they're busting their ass. They ain't got time to meal prep, to go and fix cars, to even worry about the health, which I think is completely ludicrous, completely ridiculous. We're so busy making money, but we're not watching our health, So let's start doing some yoga. Let's do 10 minutes early in the morning together, 20 minutes, and start improving our health. Because if we got our health, we definitely have the wealth of beyond money. Next one here, because we're running out of time, is homeschooling. A lot of people here in the United States, again, overseas and all that, I don't know what's going on there, but it's becoming quite fucking popular that the public education sucks cock, and that a lot of people are going, dude, I can make my children a lot smarter and save a lot of stress and a lot of time for them, where they don't have to be out away from me for 7 hours a day, 8 hours a day, whatever the fuck it is. But they're learning that their children in this setting are getting stuff a lot faster. You see, I don't mean to knock it, but I do, is that you can't have a classroom of like 40, 50 kids, even 30 kids, and be able to cater to each one's needs. We all learn in different ways. And I preach that a lot on my show, is that we all have different needs. We all have different blood types, different, how some of us are allergic to stuff, different foods. Some of us are dumb fucks. We'll drink too much alcohol and it makes us violent, and then we want to fight, So there's different strokes for different folks. So, and I think as far as investing in the future, your children will make, if you educate them right, and you think that you got it. A lot of us we think that we got it all going on, right? We think we're so fucking smart. If we are, and you got the balls to look at yourself and say, if I got it all together, then I want my kids to get it together. What's lacking in the world? We all complain, point the finger outwards. The people are lazy, they're uneducated, or they're this or they're that, and I'm right and everybody else is wrong. Well, if you're right, you got it together. Pass that information on to your children so that they live a good life. And maybe if you're all living together, if you had to, the education is not going to hurt. A one-on-one to make these kids super smart so that they can go make money, and maybe you guys can lower the overhead and live together like as a community. I'm just spurring off all over the fucking place here. And I like to say this is to further your own education, which I just spoke about. But that was about learning how to fix things, how to do certain stuff, like house improvements, automotive. But if you're really wanting to learn to do other things, like go to school, now's your time. If you've got a significant other and they're going out there and they're bringing in the dough, and I think in conjunction with all these other things that you could be doing, fixing up a house, fixing your car, growing your own food, fermenting your own food. If you had about an hour a day, as we said, with exercise, you took 10 minutes, 20 minutes a day, which I think is very doable. Just go for a walk. If you keep learning, you keep putting off this time for like, an hour a day, a half hour a day. I wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And that's it gives me about an hour and a half to wake up. But in that time is when I usually write my show notes and things like that. But I could easily divert this time to start educating myself, studying things, which I do all the time. How to ferment, how to make yogurts, and how to fix things, how to grow things. So yeah, you can further your own education. And I think you can awaken the imagination in both you and your children. I think this fucked up world, the systems that we're in, has got everybody's imagination murdered. And they got their curiosity killed entirely. And that's what I have against this whole system of education and the people in it. Just our whole systems, all of it. It fucking blows in my fucking mind. The most important thing that most people can do for themselves is to utilize their imagination, their creativity, to get themselves out of places that they don't want to be and get themselves into places they do want to be. You need to know who the fuck you are and what you're capable, and you need to exercise. You need to go out there and fuck shit up. You need to try things and fail so that you learn what are my capabilities, what are my weaknesses and strengths and everything. You won't know until you ever fucking try. And you need to exercise that fucking, your imagination so that you can come up with solutions for yourself. That's exactly what I've done in my life, and that's how I have gotten to where I am, where I'm as free, I'm freer than almost anybody I physically fucking know. I can do anything I fucking want just about. I can get up and out of this place, the city I live in, Sunnyside, San Diego, California. I could be out of here in a matter of days. Would I want to do that? No. I can sit here for 2-3 years. I'd say 3 years is I think where we're at last time I did the math. I pre-made 2021. We already made the money for 2021. I don't have to do a goddamn thing if I didn't want to. I think it would be foolish because I still want to save some money. But that's what the reason I'm trying to spit all this shit out of my mouth is that through my creativity, through my imagination, through observing, knowing who I am and what I'm capable gives me confidence. And I'm able to go fuck shit up in a good way. I'm so excited. Well, last one I got here is Spin Farm. You guys, grow your own food. I think, I know I talk a lot about spin farming and all that, but because that's what I've been doing. That's why I'm all dirty. I've got my hands all full of dirt and shit like that. But I don't own land, right? I don't own land. It's too expensive for me to do that. I'm not set up yet for that. But I'm growing my own food on somebody else's land. They pay for the taxes. All I do is pay for the water. They work their asses off to get this, and there's tons of it all around me. And I want you guys to be inspired to go grow your own food if you're sitting around, doing nothing. But I also want you guys to see the philosophy of the spin farm and take this in other directions. If somebody has a shop, right? If somebody has a garage, that one's, your neighbor has a garage and they're never home, which most people are. They're too busy working. What if you were able to start a little business of assembling something in somebody's garage if you didn't have the space for it, right? And in return, you would keep it clean and everything, but you'd also maybe mow their lawn or something. I don't know, exchange something, or give them a cut, give them 10% of whatever you make. If you got some little hobby, something that you think you can make some money on, get the thinking that way. I don't know if the example I just gave you would work, but the philosophy is there if you're smart enough to see it, to sense it. So guys, there's always solutions. We just have to be in the mind frame to sit back and calm ourselves down and be able to see what's going on. You see this fucked up system, this rat race that we live in has things spinning so fast, and they got us living in fear, and they've already successfully diluted most people's magic in their minds and their curiosity, that they don't know how to think. They don't know about, like, well, where's the first place that I start? Just calm yourself down, get a vantage point, go out there and fuck shit up too, guys. Because if I could do it, you can do it. And I think that's the whole premise of this entire fucking show, is to get people out there, get them more free. And I'm living by example. I know I got to prove myself to you guys, and I'd love for you guys to comment and let me know what you guys want to see, what you guys want to hear, and how I can do that, and how I can be of help. If I've helped you any way, you guys, please go out there and subscribe, or better yet, leave me a review on the podcast. Subscribe if you're on the YouTube thing. It means a lot to me. It keeps the show going. I have to pay to do this right now and take time out of my day, and I love giving it to you. And I love doing it, so I'm not going to quit. I almost considered quitting, but I'm not going to do it. So, guys, I'm running out of time here. Yeah, go out there if you can, do that for me. Thank you so much. And I hope this has helped you guys out. And this is Up and In It. This is the name of the show, Up and In It. And you can check it out on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and anywhere where you can find the podcast. And as I always say, guys, go out there and have yourself a near-life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire. Human up. Live it, love it, own it, and bone it, my